Hey everyone, it's Jurgen Jays, and welcome to what I'm calling a deep dive. So, this is not going to be a video of me playing the game or anything like that. It's just an idea I had where I wanted to make videos other than gaming, but I still wanted it to be just because of my own time and resources that I have available. I still wanted it to be kind of fairly on the low effort end of things. So, for today's deep dive, we'll be diving deeper into Kyudo, Japanese archery, as seen in Fate. Whether that is the origins of it, it starting in like Japanese schools, or like its expansion across the world and Kyudo clubs like popping up in other countries besides Japan. Um, I thought this would be a fun idea because Kyudo, like, I mean, it's mentioned in Fate Stay Night, obviously quite a lot. And I just thought it would be very interesting to look into it. I kind of want to do this for like other games I play. If there's like a idea, cultural thing, philosophy that's mentioned, I kind of would like to go through it as a video as well. And then additionally as well, the kind of style and I'm kind of voicing this so that way I'm kind of getting a better idea of what I'm about to do as well. But the kind of style and way that this video will go in other videos that I do like it in the future, it is going to not be like a me presenting information to you. I have pulled up a bunch of tabs up here that I've just Googled like questions or different things that I'm interested in looking at for Kyudo. And then we are going to be kind of like exploring and learning together. Well, I mean, it'll be me doing it, but you'll kind of be learning as I learn. So this isn't a presentation of information or anything, or an expert talking on this. This is just someone that is just interested in a cultural piece used in a video game that I've been playing and would like to explore it and talk about it more. And um, thought that my current audience, that it might be something that you would be interested in, and then maybe even people that don't want to watch another Let's Play of Fate, or you've played it yourself, you're just not interested in watching someone else play it. I thought this would be an interesting video to give to you guys. I've never seen anyone do something like this where it's kind of like a let's explore and learn together. So something I want to try. All right. So I pulled up, it's a Japanese website because of how poor the user interface is. But I just Googled Kyudo, and there's a Wikipedia article. I try not to use Wikipedia when I can, but instead I found this Kyudo.com. It looks very Japanese. I don't know if it's actually made by Japanese, but I thought it'd be a good place to start. Okay, so what's Kyudo or Meshin Kyudojo? I don't know what the full thing means, but maybe we'll figure out. Kyudo, which literally means the way of the bow, is considered by many to be the purest of all martial ways, okay? In the past, the Japanese bow was used for hunting, war, court ceremonies, games, and contests of skill. The original word for Japanese archery was kyujutsu, bow technique. Jutsu, that's interesting, like ninjutsu, jujutsu, so jutsu is technique. That's interesting. When encompass the skills and techniques of the warrior archer. Some of the ancient schools, known as Ryu, survive today, along with the ancient ceremonies and games. But, okay, Ryu, that's something I kind of will look up later. So Ryu, or no, not a character. Ryu ceremonies. Okay. No, not archery. Not Ryu from Street Fighter. Ceremony of Kyudo. Okay, so it's now called Kyudo still. All right. Let's see, where were we at? Survive today. Some of the ancient schools known as Ryu survive today along with ancient ceremonies. So we already got that, but the days where the Japanese bow was used as a weapon are long past. Yeah, I don't think many people are using a bow as an actual weapon, unless you're hunting. Some people like to hunt with bows. Modern Kyudo is practiced primarily as a method of physical, moral, and spiritual development. Right? It's kind of for all aspects of life, which is, I think, Fate does a really good job of showing that, right? It's a philosophy of sorts. It's a way of meditating. For them, it's not so much about the archery as it is about the just kind of the way of existing, way of thinking. No one knows exactly when the term Kyudo came into being, but was not until the late 19th century, when practice centered almost exclusively around individual practice, that the term gained general acceptance. So what was it called beforehand? The essence of modern Kyudo said to be synonymous with the pursuit of truth, goodness, and beauty. What was something to look at later? Kyudo called before Kyudo. Was it called Ryu? Before it was officially named Kyudo in 1919, not 91, Japanese archery was known as Kyujutsu. Oh, yeah, duh, it literally said that. Okay. Kyujutsu, Kyudo, the name officially adopted way of the bow. Marks evolution of archery from a purely practical skill to a martial art. Okay, so this is a Kyujutsu, need to know technique. Kyudo, we're doing a martial art now. All right, I'm gonna close that tab. Thank you for the clarification. Truth in Kyudo is manifested in shooting that is pure and right-minded, where the three elements of attitude, movement, and technique unite in a state of perfect harmony. A true shot in Kyudo is not one that hits the center of the target, but one where the arrow can be said to exist in the target before it's released. Which, if I'm remembering right from Fate, this idea is Zanshin, like thinking it's already there, like it's already made its mark. Goodness encompasses such qualities as courtesy, compassion, morality, non-aggression. In Kyudo, goodness is shown by displaying proper attitude and behavior in all situations. A good Kyudo archer is a person who maintains his or her composure and grace even in times of great stress or conflict. So like if I'm practicing, I'm messing up a lot, I'm still maintaining my posture. I'm still patient. Beauty both enhances life and stimulates the spirit. In Kyudo, truth and goodness themselves are considered beautiful. Beauty can also be found in the exquisite grace and artistry of the Japanese bow and the elegance of the traditional archer's attire. It is also present in the refined etiquette that surrounds the Kyudo ceremony. Etiquette, which is simply common courtesy and respect for others, is an essential element of Kyudo practice. Much has been written about the philosophical connections of Kyudo, perhaps most known as the book Zen and the Art of Archery by Eugen Herrigel. In his book, Mr. Herrigel, it sets forth his experiences with Kyudo in the 1930s. That's not a Japanese name. So that's like someone came over and saw it and learned about it. It's a beautifully written account that has been translated in many languages, giving people worldwide their first glimpse of the art. Fortunately, the book was very one-sided in its description of Kyudo as a Zen art, and is responsible for a lot of the current misconceptions surrounding the practice of Kyudo. What is a Zen art? Because I don't even know what a Zen art is, to be confused. Zen art is a tradition of creative expression inspired by Zen Buddhism, characterized by simplicity, minimalism, and mindfulness. It includes forms like ink painting, calligraphy, tea ceremony objects, and garden design. Aiming to Zen, art in the sense of like aesthetic, as opposed to wrong tabs, as opposed to previously mentioned imported from China. Where were we? The book was very one-sided description of Kyudo as a Zen art. It is responsible for the current misconception. Okay. While Kyudo is not a religion and has been influenced by two schools of Eastern philosophy, the previously mentioned Zen, form of Buddhism imported from China, and Shintoism. Okay, so he focused like on this philosophical religious aspect and not it as a whole in his book. Of the two, the influence of Shintoism is much older ritualistic use of which Shintoism is like a Japanese religion mythology sort of deal. I've personally not looked into it that much. Maybe that's another deep dive that we could do, is Shintoism. Let me write that down before I forget, because I like that idea. Um, because I consume so much Japanese, media or around Japanese culture. I mean, Japanese culture to me is just really interesting to me. Um, so knowing Shintoism, which explains all the shrines and all of that throughout Japan, I think would be interesting. And I know like Shintoism as it exists today and like spirituality as it exists today in Japan is very, very different from how it used to exist. Um, so that would be an interesting thing to look into. I don't really have because it's not like Shintoism pops up in uh, Fate specifically. Just I'm sure it just kind of influences the general mindset and culture of Japan in a lot of ways. So I'll have to figure out how to tie that to this is just rambling. I mean, all of this is just rambling. It'll be me having to figure out how to tie that idea to something like an IP that already exists. So that way it's a little bit, frankly, clickbaity. Because otherwise, I don't think. I mean, the audience that I want to appeal to, I don't think would click on it if it was just pure Shintoism. Much of we're here. Ritualistic use of the bow and arrows have been a part of Shintoism for over 2,000 years. Much of the Kyudo ceremony, the attire worn by the archers, and ritual respect shown for the equipment and shooting place are derived from ancient Shinto practice. The influence of Zen, on the other hand, is more recent, dating back to the Kamakura period, 1185 to 1333. So about 700 years ago or so. When the warrior archers adopted Zen as their preferred method of moral training, Zen's influence on Kyudo became even greater in the 17th and 18th centuries, not 7th, excuse me, when Japan as a whole experienced a period of civil peace. During that time, the practice of Kyudo took on a definite philosophical learning. This is the period when sayings like one shot, end of life, and shooting should be like flowing water were associated with the teaching of Kyudo. Because of its long and varied past, modern baseball, or not baseball, where did baseball come from? Modern Japanese archery will exhibit a wide variety of influences. Today, at any given Kyudojo practice hall, one can find people practicing ancient Kyujutsu, ceremonial court games, rituals with religious connections, and contests of skill. The key to understanding Kyudo is to keep an open mind, not open an open mind, and contests of skill. The key to understanding Kyudo is to keep an open. I just read that. Style of Kyudo you see or practice is but a small part of a greater whole, and that each style has its own history and philosophical underpinnings, which make them all equally interesting and important. Well, that makes me want to different Kyudo styles. Okay. Kyudo has different styles, most notably the Ogasawara. There we go. Style focused on etiquette and form, so like posture side of it, and the Heki style focused on power and hitting the target. Other styles such as the Honda style, not the car. A car just drives through the archery range. The arrow is the car. Are blends of the two with the okay. So Honda's both. Osagawara is etiquette and form. Heki is power and actually hitting the target, like the archery, actually hitting things properly. Yamato style being derived from the Heki style. Okay, so Heki, blah, 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 blah. What's the Yama? The differences often come down to how archers move, known as Tai-Hai. There are also distinctions in stance. The Shaman no Kame, frontal stance is often used by Ogasawara and Honda styles, while the Shaman no Kame Oblique stance is associated with Heki style. This is so much more intricate than what I thought it would be. Yamato style. Yamato being derived from Heki. Okay. Difference. Then what's the difference between Heki, Kyudo, and Yamato? Was that what it was? Yamato? Yeah. Yamato style. Yamato Kyudo. I really do, as an artist, I mean, this could be a whole another topic for another day, but I have gripes with AI, but AI, not because it's not true artificial intelligence. It's advanced intelligence right now at its best. Um, it is a really helpful tool, especially with like summarizing. Although sometimes these Google AI overview summaries are like it's information that I already know to be 100% true, and I go Google it just to like prove it to someone else, and it's just like completely wrong. And then you scroll down and you click a website, or like if I look up something regarding a game, it's awful. It has no clue what it's talking about sometimes. Hekikyudo martial battlefield oriented style focus on accuracy and power, while Yamato is a latter, more formalized style that blends Heki's shooting methods with the etiquette of the Osagawara school or Ogasawara school and Shinto philosophy. Yamato Ryu was founded in the early Edo period by Murakawa Kozan, who drew upon Heki and other traditions. So really Heki based, but like we're adopting some more of the etiquette. So it's still a blend, but main focus is on this Heki style of doing things. This is cool. I didn't think there would be like these like stylistic choices and uses here. What is Kyudo history, spirit, Kyudo technique, Kyudo equipment? I'm more interested in the history and the philosophies. Meshin, Kyudo, no. Okay, origin. I feel like we got the origin, more or less. I mean, yeah, it started just playing archery, developed into this practice. We kind of already got that start of Kyudo clubs in Japan. Another thing I wanted to look at was in Fate, they mention there being like 8, what's it called? 8. Oh, help me. I mean, you can't help me. Start typing furiously. I'll feel it through the screen. Uh, 8, 8 something like 8 parts. To Kyudo. 8 parts of Kyudo archery. 8 stages. Okay. Oh, cool. We're back to our website. The 8 stages of shooting. Maybe this was on the Kyudo technique. Ashi Bumi Dozukuri. So we have the footing. We have correcting our posture. We have Yugame, which is readying the bow. We have Uchiyo Koshi, which is raising the bow. We have Hikiwake, drawing the bow. Kai, completing the draw. Hanare, release. And Zanshin, the continuation. So the Zanshin part is what's really referenced a lot in Fate. In Kyudo, the shooting does not end with the release of the arrow, it ends with Zanshin. The word Zanshin is a homonym. It can mean remaining body or remaining spirit. Both definitions are used to explain the period following the release when one continues to hold one's position and send the spirit forth, even after the arrow has reached the target. Okay? And then this one, which I don't think was even mentioned. Oh, this is an addition. That's why there's an asterisk. Yudaoshi. The lowering of the bow is not a separate stage, but is more or less included within the context of Zanshin. Okay. And Yudaoshi, visual contact with the target is maintained as the hands are lower to the side so that the end of the bow is once again in line with the center of the body. So, like, we're looking at the target still, we're hitting the mark, like even visually, we're kind of sending out quote unquote spirit, as this is putting it. Even as we put our bow down, our full thought and process is still on the same thing. It's not being like deviated back to our bow. All right. Okay, we already got that. Good here. Start of Kyudo clubs. I was interested in this since Fate has Kyudo clubs. There's a lot of these. I think Japanese schools have these really interesting clubs. I forget the name of because it was kind of, it had some good moments. It was like a 6 out of 10 movie. I forget what it was called, but it's an anime movie. It's about this girl who goes to college and she signs up for this like glider club for whatever reason. I forget the reason why. But she falls in love with like gliders. And it's really cool because even like you have other anime, like Tomo-chan wants to be a girl, where you have these kind of oddball clubs that you really don't see, especially like in the States. I feel like the United States clubs are just so standard, and like I wish they were more specific and wish there was more variety to it. Like, me as an art teacher, I don't have an art club, for many reasons, but with the art club, even art clubs in elementary, middle, and high, it's just so general, right? Like if we had a realism painting club or I don't know, something more specific, or even we could have like manga club, or I don't know, just clubs that just are really specific. But I think that's because in Japanese culture, students have a lot of say over what clubs get to be there, so long as they are the ones kind of doing the bulk of the work. And then you have just the general teacher that quote unquote sponsors it. They don't necessarily need to do anything for it other than occasionally pop in and make sure that the room isn't like falling apart. That's at least the way in Japanese media, anime, that clubs are like presented as. Think of Mob Psycho 100, think of it's not My Dress Up Darling. It's a thing very similar to My Dress Up Darling. It's like, oh, My 2.5 Dimensional Girlfriend. That's a manga. It may be an anime now, but there's a club there, which I believe was like a cosplay club or something like that. It's cool to see that they have these very specific clubs. All right. So when was Kyudo adopted in a Japanese school? Kyudo was adopted in Japanese schools in 1895, a move encouraged by its growing popularity among the public after their samurai class lost its status. The inclusion of archery in school education was seen as a way to promote physical and mental discipline. I mean, that's so fun. Like, like, granted, in America, I guess it would be like guns, right? But like in Europe and stuff, like having a I know fencing is still a thing, but having these different things is a really fun, interesting way of physical education. And I think these more traditional things have more of a philosophical backing, and these really nice disciplines behind them that like a normal PE class isn't going to have. And granted, like sports in America, they very much do still have uh like a philosophical backing. They have a discipline backing. They have all these things. I think the thing that they lack, though, and this is no disrespect to them whatsoever, I have massive respect for football players, soccer players, take your pick, that are in sports, but I think they lack class compared to something like judo, fencing, stuff like that, where you're constantly maintaining a posture of discipline. But in American culture, I don't see that working because a lot of Americans are not very regal in their nature. Nothing wrong with that. That's just kind of our culture is compared to more Eastern cultures, or even like older European cultures. I think, I mean, Europe has very much gotten away from that, from what I observe and know of. Anyway, so samurai class, lost status, inclusion of archery as mental and physical education, preserve a traditional martial art. Later in 1919, the name was officially changed from Kyujutsu to Kyudo to emphasize the spiritual cultivation over combat, because we're de-emphasizing jutsu technique, and we're now emphasizing the discipline part of it that makes it a martial art. Uh, Revitalize and its implementation in schools continued as part of the broader effort to revitalize Japanese martial arts after the Meiji Restoration. Initial introduction, emphasis on spiritual integration. Okay, cool. So it's been in schools for a very long time. It's not going anywhere. International Kyudo Federation, about the first World Kyudo Taikai held in Tokyo in 2010. Kyudo: The Way of the Bow. This is the book. This was the book. So I'm guessing this book. No thanks. I'm guessing this book is probably what brought this to be more global. When we face the target, it is like a mirror that reflects our heart. We must confront ourselves in this mirror. Few archery traditions take hold of the imagination like Kyudo, the drawing of the bow and the skill, blah 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 blah. The image of formal Kyudoka with their long asymmetrical bows. Okay, I don't really care about this part. Kyudo. The Way of the Bow. Where is... I thought you were going to talk about the book. The Way of the Bow and the Pursuit of Zen and Archery. Maybe not. Maybe no book. I'd be willing to watch a short little video about this. Actually, no. I want to watch one of these ceremony videos. I may not watch this whole thing. I may just skip through it. Momote Shiki. Japanese archery video. Thank you, Ronan Dave, for your contribution. Oh, come on. Load. There we go. Japanese. For Seijin no Hi, Coming of Age Day in January. An archery... Okay, Coming of Age Day. Like a birthday? Is held in honor of the new... Oh, Coming of Age. So, like... in Japanese culture, is that 16 or 18? Japan Coming of Age Day. January 12th, 2026. Public holiday in Japan held annually on the second Monday of January under the Happy Monday system. What the heck is the Happy Monday system? That's a whole nother... Japanese holidays are like a whole nother rabbit hole. What do we celebrate? What is being... what is being celebrated? What's being celebrated? Celebrates individuals who have reached the age of 20. Okay, so 20, we're officially big boys and girls. While the legal age of adulthood is now 18, many ceremonies still focus on those turning 20, the previous legal age. Now able to legally drink, smoke, gamble. Celebration is a national holiday held on the second Monday of January. New adults attend local government ceremonies, wear formal attire, and receive advice for their new roles and responsibilities. Interesting. I do wish, like, also this is another thing, like looking at like public festivals and these different ceremonies that are still held in Japan. I wish... I can't speak on Europe. I can just speak for the States and what I know. I wish the States had something like this too, some kind of public ceremonies. Maybe we do, and maybe the election is our public ceremony. I feel like that's a awful example of that. I mean, we have graduation. That's a pretty big deal and milestone, whether that's from high school or from college. It's kind of like a coming of age of sorts. Not necessarily a coming of age, but just some ceremonies, some festivals that are just public, in common. Where were we at? Oh, right. We were watching this. Meiji Shrine in Tokyo. Japanese bows are used in many traditional rituals. Yes. Okay, I want to get to where they shoot it. Frankly. Oh, here we go. I think they're drawing and stuff here. Okay, what are you doing? A Shinto priest purifies the field. I wonder why tugging on the string of the shirt. A Shinto priest begins the ceremony by firing a special arrow. What makes quote-unquote arrow special? Maybe we'll see once it hits its target, or if it hits the target. Because again, Kyudo's not about hitting the target, it's about the frame of mind. Before shooting, the archer will undo his sleeve. Oh, I see. You see this all the time. Or I see this a lot, where they, like, in archery, they remove their sleeve. I don't know why. They gotta free that nip. Really gotta be out for these kinds of things. They can't have this ceremony without that nip. Arrow the priest shoots is called kaburaya. It makes a whistling sound to drive away evil spirits. I don't even think he was shooting at a target. It's just to scare those spirits away. Okay, now we have, so after the priest, 10 archers at a time shoot 2 arrows apiece. You notice how when he finished the shot, like when he put the bow down, he continued to look forward. That was that, what stage? Kyudo. I got rid of it. Dang it. It was not the Zanshin, spirit Kyudo technique, maybe? No, it went away. No. All right, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The thing after Zanshin, or what's part of Zanshin. The white feathers of the arrow represent good luck. Oh, there's females too. It's cool to see that it's not just men. I believe those were females. Were they showing nipples? That would be a good sign. Granted, Japan has different standards about nudity than we do in the West. The emphasis is not on striking the target accurately. But that was so spaced out. But on achieving balance between the spirit and the bow. Okay, those are women. They don't have chest out. The arrow leaves the string. It may not hit, but it does not miss. Samurai Dave production. Okay, thanks, bud. All right. Cool. It was good to watch. They were very, like I said, they kind of maintained like a regalness. Etiquette was the word they were using. An etiquette and a decorum throughout that whole thing that I found very interesting. It's interesting that they took something like archery and it has such like a spiritual philosophical backing behind it, and it's like deliberately that where if like you go do archery, like you can go out to hunt a deer here in Georgia, and you bring a bow with you to shoot, you're not thinking about one with the bow and stuff like that. I mean, maybe you are, but that's cool. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you enjoyed this, you thought it was trash. I want to know what your opinion is, genuinely. If you'd like to see more of these. Hopefully you weren't maybe watching this entire time. This is great. Second monitor, trash content. I know it is. That's fine with me. I was just wanting to try something new and different, just to spice things up a little bit. Let me know if you want to do more of these, if there's any ideas, whether that's maybe more about Kyudo, maybe that's another thing shown in Fate that you would be interested in getting a deeper dive on, or just something in an anime. I've mentioned Apothecary Diaries a couple times. I have an idea for it if you'd be interested in that. Just let me know any thoughts you may have on this. All right. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.